Welcome to the Implementing Partner Management, Approving a Fund Certification course. You are here because you have decided to expand your knowledge of the Grantor Management module. You selected the thematic area, Implementing Partner Management, the program, Lifecycle Execution, and then the course on Approving a Fund Certification. Upon completion of this course, you will be able to approve a fund certification from the perspective of a certifying officer and approving officer. Verify the status of an approved fund certification. Let us revisit the grantor process overview. You'll recall from a previous course that the fund certification has been submitted for approval. Now the approvers must review the request. For our UNEP training scenario, approving a fund certification requires two levels of approval. First, financial certification by the certifying officer, followed by financial approval by the approving officer for commitments. The approval process will begin with the financial certification by the certifying officer. In this process, the certifying officer will be responsible for approving a fund certification. Hello, I am James, the certifying officer. Let's get started. Here in my workflow task list, I, the certifying officer, will receive an approval workflow task notifying me that the fund certification requires my approval. We will open the notification from the workflow task. So, click on the task. Now in the approval screen. Before we can approve the fund certification, we must review the details. Let's scroll down the page. Now click on the fund certification link to review. Now, we are in the fund certification page. Note, the workflow status roadmap reminds me that the fund certification is pending with me for financial approval. Now, we must open the request. So, click to expand the section. Once in the fund certification form, we can scroll down the page. Here, the certifying officer should verify the information in the header. Check the data is correct, focusing in particular on the dates, currency and applicant program support costs. Ensure that the fund certification is being created against the correct grantor program. Now we will scroll further down the page. The certifying officer should check the new authorized amount fields and ensure these amounts are correct. After reviewing the expense types of each authorized amount, we will navigate back to the approval workflow task to execute the approval decision. After finishing the review, I will navigate back by clicking on the back button. Reviewing the information, we will select Approve from the Decision drop-down and then we will click on Execute Decision. Here you will see the notification has disappeared from the list of workflow tasks. Now that we have approved the request, let's take a look at the status of the fund certification. Click on the Agreements link and click on the Change Requests link. Here we will locate our fund certification by searching by the Change Request ID. Now, click on Search. The fund certification appears. You'll notice here the user status has changed to financial approval, which means it's now pending with Kate, the approving officer for financial review. That's all for now. I will hand it over now to Kate. Goodbye. Now that the program officer has completed the financial certification, we will move on to talking about the role of the approving officer. In this process, the approving officer is responsible for approving a fund certification. Financial approval is the second step in the approval process.
Hello, I am Kate, the approving officer. Let's get started. In the home page, here I will see the workflow task, alerting me that the fund certification requires my review. So, click on the tab. Here in financial approval process, the approving officer must follow the same steps shown above for the program officer James. Let's scroll down the page. Now click on the fund certification link to review. Note, the workflow status roadmap reminds me that the application is pending with approving officer for financial approval. Now, click on the Request section. After reviewing the fund's certification, we will navigate back to approve the task. So, click on Back. Now back in the workflow task, we will select Approve from the Decision drop-down and then we will click on Execute Decision. Now that we have approved the request, let's take a look at the status of the fund's certification. Click on the Agreements link. You can search for the agreement. Here you will that the status now shows as awarded. That's all for now. Let's log off. Goodbye.
This concludes the Implementing Partners, Reviewing an Application to a Grant or Program course. In the course we have demonstrated how to approve a fund certification from the perspective of a certifying officer and approving officer. Verify the status of an approved fund certification. What's next? Now that we have shown you how to approving a fund certification, the next course will explain how to creating a payment request. Refer to the Implementing Partner Management thematic area on iLearn to access additional courses. Also, check out the course forum to collaborate with a community of users, share knowledge and tips, and learn by asking peers and experts.